So this is probably the, let's call it the lazily lit load shedding edition. Lazily lit because I'm just too damn lazy to go and find the ring light and plug it in and all of that. And it doesn't really matter what my face looks like, as long as you can hear some of this stuff. And I was sitting here thinking now, thinking that 30 years ago, you could sit outside in the dark. It was all dark. There were very few lights in the area outside. And you could hear the shunting yard, which is probably, well, there's a rail line to the north of here, probably 8 kilometers as the crow flies, and a shunting yard probably a little bit further than that, to the northeast, northeast. Anyway, it's not far away, but when it was quiet at night, you could hear the locomotives. And yeah, now you can't hear any of that at any time, but you can hear generators. It sounds like an industrial area. You know, as soon as the lights go off here during load shedding, all the diesel and petrol starts getting burned. And it's quite interesting. I mean, obviously some people need electricity for various reasons, but so many people are so dependent upon electricity and all of that. And yeah, this is a big argument and a very, again, multifaceted thing. But I was talking to someone earlier, and one of the things that came up was the topic of adapting, adaptation to the situation at hand, and the way people are expectant, and they feel entitled to all of these modern amenities. Well, actually, they're not modern anymore, are they? They're one of those things that was consistent and modern 30, 40, 50 years ago. It's quite interesting. I remember growing up, and I don't remember light bulbs being, that's not true. I remember in all the time growing up north, in a period of probably 10 years, I can remember one light bulb being changed. I can remember 2 power failures. That wasn't a thing that happened. It's quite something, how far backwards we've gone. But yeah, anyway, let's not worry about how far backwards we've gone. We know how far it's going backwards. But anyway, I thought it would be interesting to just sit outside here in the quiet, in the semi-quiet, and talk about the day's happenings. Someone the other day commented to me privately on one of the videos and suggested that it would be nice to hear about some of the positive things happening in the area. I'm always going on about all the negatives, and there are many, but there are also positives, and they often, I guess, get glossed over because we just try carry on and do what we have to do. It is, I guess, in our nature, those of us that are engaged in these activities in the community, it's in our nature to do that, just to get on with it, because it doesn't really bear much thinking about. You can either lament the fact that it is the way it is, or you can just get on with trying to fix it. But there are positives, and maybe I should highlight some of those in future going forward, because maybe it will give some other people a glimmer of hope. And there are many positives. There are those people in the community that do get stuck in and help with whatever they can help, contribute in whatever way they can. Still, the vast majority do not do that, but there are the small group of people that support the effort, and that's greatly appreciated, and it is very positive. And I suppose as well, I don't say thank you enough to them. I do occasionally, but yeah, those of you that do assist in the way that you can, whether it's whatever which way you participate, whether it's doing patrols or small financial contributions and things like that, coming out with the chainsaw or a spade or whatever to try and help do whatever needs to be done. Thank you. It doesn't go unnoticed, and it is greatly appreciated. I greatly appreciate it, and I think you would do well to know that even though we maybe sometimes don't get the time to say thank you or make the time to say thank you, it would be much more difficult without your contribution. So thank you very much. It's highly appreciated. In terms of other positive things, I had a meeting today with the head of the department, the electrical or the energy department. And I think it was a long discussion, a fairly frank discussion, and it was good, it was positive. I don't know yet what results it will yield, because it's obviously, this whole thing is very complicated politically, and there are many things to consider in how we deal with all of this going forward. But I came away from it feeling a sense of, accomplishment is maybe a strong word, but I wasn't negative about it. I didn't come away thinking, shit, it's more of the same. And that's a good thing. That's a very good thing. It pleases me. I know that it doesn't mean much to you, because you're all kind of sitting in the dark there, literally now. But you know what I mean. You're all pretty much in the background, not too aware of what's going on. And we've just had this by-election, and we've got a new ward councillor, and things are a little bit up in the air. But the people that are trying to do things in the area are still trying to do things. We're still trying to assist where we can, and I think today's meeting was a good opportunity for me to try and build more relationships in terms of what will help us going forward. So I feel good about that. It's a big positive. Something to note here in terms of the ward councillor and the recent by-election, I'm noticing on a variety of groups in the area and outside this, in the greater area, people are throwing stones already, talking about, we voted for you, you said this, you said that, now get on with it and do it. And those people that are throwing those stones, you need to understand that the situation itself hasn't changed. The municipal situation and the political control of it hasn't actually changed, and it's going to take some careful navigation to reform certain relationships and try to navigate it's a complex situation internally, politically, in terms of intentional animosity and things like that in certain quarters. So, the system already is compromised, and you can't expect it to change overnight. Well, you can expect it to change overnight, but if you do, then clearly you haven't been paying attention, unfortunately. And the reality is, it's not going to change overnight. And my suggestion would be to try and remain civil for a start. There's no need to be insulting. Like I've said a number of times in the past, we don't have to like each other, but it would be a good thing if we kind of get on with the job at hand and tolerate each other with the right intention and to get things done for everybody, because it's not just you, it's everyone. We're all in the same boat. So yeah, I'll give you, I think you should, those of you that are up in arms about the fact that nothing's happening miraculously overnight, well, don't be naive. You know it can't happen overnight. And a little bit of civility goes a long way. So, for what it's worth. Yeah. More positives are that some of the potholes, one of the residents has undertaken to fix some of the potholes down the road and has had a contractor come in and throw some tar in the holes and done a fairly good job. I don't know how long it's going to last, but it's a step in the right direction. I had someone come down the road outside, and in fact outside my driveway, and fill up 1 or 2 holes with some concrete, and thank you for that. I'm not sure who it was, but thank you. If you were involved in it, it's deeply appreciated. And yeah, in reality, there are many things to be positive about. And if you consider historically that there is opportunity in, or rather, let's put it this way, the times that present the most opportunity seem to be those that are the most disrupted throughout history, then I would urge you to consider that you have opportunity. It might not seem like it on the face of it. In fact, it probably doesn't. It probably seems like everything is about to implode. And it's not far from the truth. It's not far from the reality. But we still have a choice. We can go down that road of negative thinking and throwing stones at each other, or we can choose to in some way try and pull in the same direction and make the best of what we can, trying to reminisce, be nostalgic, remember what was and how it should be and what your expectations are. Going down that path is not going to likely yield any happiness. I think you will, if you look at it honestly, you will agree with me that looking forward is the only way to actually progress. We know how things were, we know how they should be, we know how we want them to be, but we need to consider very carefully what it is that we do and how we act and what we say and what we do in order to make it actually go forward and become something better than it is. Yeah, so I think I'll leave you with that on this industrially noisy night that should be fairly quiet. The dulcet sounds of generators.